In the icy heart of Europe, at an altitude of over 3,000 meters, the mountains kept a secret, a scream frozen in time, a story sealed in ice for 5 millennia. In 1991, he was revealed to the world, a perfectly preserved man from an era we knew only through stone tools and pottery shards. We named him Ötzi the Iceman. He became the most studied mummy in history. We know what he ate for his last meal, what he wore, what diseases he suffered from, and how brutally he was murdered. We thought we knew almost everything about him, but we were wrong. We were studying the man, but we were overlooking his world. Who were the people who lived alongside him? His neighbors, his tribe, his enemies? Were they like him? Or was Ötzi, this solitary traveler who fell in the mountains, a stranger in his own land? A new revolutionary DNA study comparing Ötzi to his long-dead neighbors reveals a startling truth and adds a new, unexpected twist to the greatest detective story of the prehistoric world. Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we return to the story of Ötzi the Iceman. Since his discovery by astonished hikers, he has continued to captivate the minds of scientists, historians, and anyone interested in the past. His frozen body became a true time capsule, revealing the secrets of life in Europe during the Copper Age over 5,300 years ago. But every discovery gave rise to new questions. The main one being, who was he in the context of his time? To answer this question, a team of scientists from the Institute for Mummy Studies in Bolzano, Italy, undertook an unprecedented project. They extracted and analyzed the DNA of dozens of individuals who lived in the same region as Ötzi over thousands of years. They literally reconstructed the genetic landscape of his world. And what they discovered forces us to look not only at Ötzi himself, but at the entire society of the Copper Age in a new light. Before we dive into this genetic investigation, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. You'll help us continue to tell incredible stories about discoveries that are changing our understanding of the past. Before we reveal the new twist in this story, let's remember who Ötzi is. He is not just a mummy. He is a person with a remarkably detailed biography. The analysis of his body and belongings has told us an incredible amount. We know his last meal was the meat of an ibex and a red deer, with traces of einkorn wheat. His clothing was skillfully stitched from hides and woven from grass. We know about his ailments, arthritis, intestinal parasites, and even Lyme disease, the earliest known evidence of this illness. And of course, we know about his death. He was murdered. An arrow struck his shoulder, severing an artery. He was likely finished off with a blow to the head. Or, as recent studies suggest, wounded by the arrow, he might have fallen from a cliff, been incapacitated, and frozen to death. His body is a snapshot of a tragedy. But whose snapshot is it? A lone hunter? An exile? A warrior fallen in battle? To understand who he was, we need to understand who the others were. To grasp just how special Ötzi was, we must first immerse ourselves in the world he inhabited. His story was shaped by millennia of migration and isolation. After the glaciers retreated around 18,000 years ago, Western European hunter-gatherers settled the Eastern Alps. Around 7000 BC, a major event occurred, the Neolithic Revolution. Farmers from Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, brought agriculture and livestock to Europe. They slowly advanced across the continent, mixing with the local hunter-gatherers. By 4800 BC, Alpine populations carried between 80 and 90% Anatolian farmer ancestry. This genetic signature remains stable for thousands of years, distinguishing them from groups in Central Europe and being most similar to the genetics of modern Sardinians. These mountains, once a crossroads, became a refuge that preserved unique genetic lineages and prepared the stage for the world Ötzi would one day inhabit. And now we come to the heart of the new research. Scientists analyzed the DNA of 47 individuals who lived in the South Tyrolean Alps from the Mesolithic to the Middle Bronze Age. 15 of these individuals were Ötzi's contemporaries, living around the same time and in the same region circa 3300 BC. The goal was simple: to compare Ötzi's genome with the genomes of his neighbors. Who were these people who might have lived in nearby valleys, hunted the same game, or traded along the same alpine paths? At first glance, the results confirmed expectations. Ötzi was genetically similar to these ancient alpine people. Most of them, including Ötzi, carried a high proportion of what is known as Anatolian farmer ancestry, up to 90%, and a low proportion of hunter-gatherer ancestry. It seemed that Ötzi was just a typical representative of his people. But when the researchers delved into the details, especially the paternal and maternal lines, a completely different picture began to emerge. Ötzi, who lived between 3368 and 3108 BC, stood out in a striking way. His DNA showed 90.5% Anatolian farmer ancestry, one of the highest percentages in Europe at the time. But his family lines were unique. The paternal line mystery. His Y chromosome, the genetic material passed exclusively from father to son, belonged to a very rare branch of the G2A group. This branch had previously been found in Neolithic individuals from Germany, Spain, France, and Croatia. However, most of his neighbors, the 15 individuals from the same time and region, carried a different, much more common branch of G2A, which was typical for early farmers across Europe. In other words, while the surrounding alpine population had begun to homogenize genetically, Ötzi retained a distinct paternal lineage that set him apart from everyone else. He was a descendant of a different group of men. The maternal line enigma. But even more unusual was Ötzi's mitochondrial DNA, passed down through the maternal line. His haplogroup, named K1F, is absolutely unique. It has never been found in any other ancient or modern person. It's as if his mother's lineage completely vanished without a trace. Was Ötzi from a different group of farmers? Perhaps his ancestors had arrived from northern Italy or even Anatolia itself more recently. This genetic fingerprint makes him an outsider among his own people. The DNA of Ötzi's neighbors, in turn, told us how their society worked. Most men shared a common Y chromosome, suggesting they stayed in their villages, passing down land and traditions to their sons. This is a so-called patrilocal society, similar to a family farm where the men stay put. The women, however, brought diversity. Their mitochondrial DNA was very varied, showing that women came from other regions, marrying into the alpine villages. They were the carriers of new genes and the link between different communities. Against this backdrop, Ötzi appears even more mysterious. He doesn't fit this model. There were other exceptions, two men with rare Y chromosomes, possibly from the eastern Mediterranean or the Caucasus. These outliers hint that travelers or newcomers sometimes joined the alpine communities. Was Ötzi one of them? The DNA also revealed what happened in the generations after Ötzi's death. The genetic landscape of the Alps began to change. Around 2400 BC, as the Copper Age gave way to the early Bronze Age, new people arrived in the Alps. These were descendants of herders from the Pontic-Caspian steppe, a vast territory stretching from modern-day Ukraine to Kazakhstan. They brought with them horses, bronze tools, and a new genetic signature known as steppe ancestry. Some alpine individuals from this period already had up to a third of their genome from steppe origins. But Ötzi, who lived centuries before these events, had none of this. His DNA is an almost pure genome of early Anatolian farmers, with virtually no admixture from distant groups. This suggests he came from a stable, relatively isolated community that remained genetically distinct until the great transformations of the Bronze Age began. He was a representative of the Old World on the brink of its twilight. This new research shows that Ötzi was not just a typical inhabitant of the Copper Age Alpine valleys. He was a man carrying the traces of another people, perhaps even of a fading lineage. The fact that his genetic signature differs from his contemporaries could offer a new explanation for why he was found alone, high in the mountains, far from any known settlement, and why he was murdered. Was he an outsider, targeted because of his unique origins? Was it a conflict between different communities? Or was he a traitor from a distant group who fell into a violent ambush? His rare DNA suggests he might have been a traveler. His copper axe from Tuscany confirms he was part of trade networks. Perhaps his otherness, his status as a stranger, played a fatal role in his destiny. This research transforms Ötzi from simply a representative of his era into a unique and possibly tragic figure, a man whose ancestry set him apart from those around him. He was not just one of many, he was special, and perhaps it was for this very specialness that he paid with his life. His story is far from over. As scientific methods improve, we will continue to learn more about the people from whom Ötzi descended, those among whom he lived, and the forces that shaped his world. Thank you for watching. If you found this story about Ötzi's mysterious origins compelling, let us know what you think in the comments. Was he an isolated survivor of a fading population, or just one of many travelers in a complex, shifting prehistoric world? Like, share, and subscribe to join us on more journeys into our human past. Until next time.